Now we know that we live in a time of 24/7 media, and nobody picks up the good things that are happening. We all pick up the bad things that are happening, and anything negative that happens gets its 5 minutes on the news. And nothing hurts the credibility of Jesus, of the Christian church. Nothing adds more bricks to the wall of skeptics and those who distrust the church than when those who proclaim to be followers of Jesus, when their actions do not match what they profess. Nothing hurts Jesus more than that. Now, as United Methodists, as Irving Park United Methodists, our tagline right now, the line that we're embracing as a church is, we are a welcoming community of faith that is rethinking church. That's what we're living into. That's our identity right now. And we're pretty good at being authentically welcoming. Those of you who are new, maybe you could give me let me know how we did later, or tell somebody else. But that is one of our gifts. We have the gift of hospitality. Many of us in this room have that gift. And so I think we're doing pretty good with that. But this idea of rethink church, when I was having a meeting with one of my leaders this week, she said to me, Pastor, are we still doing this rethink church thing? And I said, well, yeah, of course we are. You know, worship in Lent is being a little different. We're trying to get people out of their comfort zone. And she said, well, you don't talk about it very much. So we have got to, as we rethink what it means to be the church, we've got to be asking ourselves all the time and reflecting on, are the things we're doing about rethinking church? Are we thinking about the people who aren't here yet? Do the decisions that we make affect people beyond those of us who are here? Do we really care about the people beyond the walls of this church? I mean, our Rethink Church days that we do are awesome, and we get a lot of energy from that. But I'm going to try to remember, and I need you to help me to remember, when we make decisions about who we are and what we're doing, let's make sure that we're rethinking what that means for us to be the church today on this corner. What does it mean for us? And as individuals, I'd like you to reflect for yourself. How well do the things you say match up with what you do? How well does the faith that you profess match up with the way you live your life? I'm not asking you to be perfect. You know, my goodness, that I'm not. But the thing we've got to do is reflect on how well we're doing. We've got to wonder about how well are we doing as we walk this journey of faith. We've got to make sure that we reflect on that. Because if we don't reflect on it, we're not going to know where to ask for help, right? If we think we're doing okay, then we're not going to need help in this one area. And we all need God's help if we're going to get to that place where Jesus wants us to be. Because Jesus has some high standards for us. And He wants us, and He really wants us to get to those high standards. So Nicodemus, you're probably wondering when she's going to get to the scripture. I'm here now. So Nicodemus comes to Jesus in the middle of the night, and he compliments him. Rabbi, we know that you must be from God. You've done all these wonderful things. And Jesus hits him right away. He says, well, you've got to be born anew. Born from above is how the NRSV says. Born of the Spirit. And then he goes into this thing that Nicodemus just doesn't understand. Jesus is pretty hard on Nicodemus. If we think about all the other people, or most of the other people who come to Jesus in the Scriptures, He's very gracious and generous and open. But with Nicodemus, He says, hey, don't you know this? You're a teacher of Israel. He's talking to Nicodemus, who was a practicing Jew. He's talking to us, the Christian church, who are here today. Do you only know about things of the flesh? Or do you know about the things of the Spirit? after that text and not come back. He shows up at John 7, 50 and 52 when the Pharisees and the chief priests are thinking, we got to get this guy Jesus and we've got to string him up. And it was Nicodemus who said, well, I think everybody deserves a fair trial, so let's make sure we don't just, wipe this guy off the face of the earth. And then Nicodemus shows up one more time. He shows up in John 19, 38 to 42, after Jesus has been crucified. Nicodemus is one of two people with Joseph of Arimathea who takes Jesus' dead body down and who anoints it and wraps it in a cloth and lays it in the tomb in the garden. That was Nicodemus. His name is named. So even though Jesus was hard on him, he kept coming back. He kept meant for him to be a faithful Jew and to follow this rabbi, this charismatic rabbi. Why do you think that is? Well, my best guess, and since I'm up here, that's what you're going to get, is that Jesus was authentic. What he said matched what he did. And people resonated with that. And my other best guess, and this is what I personally love the best about Jesus, is that he invites us to have a relationship with him. He doesn't say, oh, you've got to do it. He doesn't condemn those who don't. He doesn't twist people's arm. He doesn't shame people into doing it. He invites us to have a relationship with him. I love that. So I want you to ask yourself some questions this morning and in the coming week. How well do I understand the language of my faith? How well do I understand it? Do questions about my faith make me fearful? Or am I energized and encouraged when people ask me questions? Is my Christian language tempered with humility, honest reflection, and openness? Does my walk match my talk? Because when it does, when our walk matches our talk, we are inviting others to have a relationship with Jesus. When our walk matches our talk, we are inviting other people to have a relationship with Jesus. That's some powerful stuff. Do you think that